Live and Rock is brought to you in part by ShifterMagazine.com, your source for entertainment news, reviews, and interviews. Plus, amazing resources and how-tos for the independent artist in you. Check them out at ShifterMagazine.com. It's another episode of
Live and Rock, right? The show for creative soul.
Most artists cannot be comfortable stuck in one box.
That's right. And that's what this podcast is about. It's not just filmmaking, but creative pursuits in general.
The creative life, whether it's music, whether it's writing, whether it's painting, illustrating,
photography,
dancing, whatever it is.
Make some noise, rock the world before your time runs out. Let them know what you're about and just make some noise, rock the world. No matter what your game, make sure the whole world remembers your name. Make some noise, rock the world before my time runs out. You know what I'm about, I'ma make some noise, rock the world. So when I'm out.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 25.
Wow,
of Live and Rock.
Rockin' Live.
Indeed, we are the creative show for creative souls. We're here to give you insight to the creative life.
Word.
And on the mic, this is yours truly, the one and only
CDH Live.
CDH Live. I am here live and in person with the co-host
Shell Rock, aka HS Lee, aka one of a million fans in the 6, aka Toronto, where we just annihilated the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
In the NBA.
We're on the rise. We're on the rise. Watch out. Welcome to everybody listening from all over the planet, and especially to our peeps right here in the 6.
Yes. Well, speaking of people all over the planet, just for those newcomers, who is CDH Live and what are you about and why are you on this show?
CDH Live is the poet, artist, producer on the journey, the impossible journey, seemingly impossible journey of life, towards life as a full-time creative artist. For the meantime, I have a day job.
So as far as your creativity goes, you are a poet. Have any other talents?
Poet, producer, and I run a production company doing film and video production, graphics.
There we go.
Yes. So music, video, graphics. I am the one-stop shop with CDH Live Productions.
And you're a musical artist yourself too, right?
I'm not only the producer, I'm also an artist.
Thank you. It's like pulling teeth over here, yo. Guy. Okay. Good stuff.
Shell Rock, the co-host, is...
I used to be dabbling a little bit of that music stuff as Sister CDH Live, but for the most part for this show and at this stage of my creative journey, I am a writer, specializing and focusing mostly on modern fantasy, superheroes, and that type of thing. Yes. I'm kind of you'd call it a fanboy, a cool nerd, if you will. So I primarily have a blog on nerd culture right now. We'll talk about that later in the show. And again, I have a couple books, novels out there in the comic book world. And that's kind of my take and my perspective on the creative journey. That's what I bring to the table. And in between us both, if you are new to the show, you will get perspectives on all kinds of creative aspirations, skills, and industries and mediums, because we dabble in so much things in between. We both have experience with so much, and that's what this show is about. Letting all of you out there who have creative talents and dreams and aspirations get some motivation, get some camaraderie by listening to us and our journeys. And at the same time, for all of you who don't necessarily have a creative pursuit, you can still get some insight into what it's like for the independent creative artists.
Man, you said it so well. I can't even add anything to that. So just welcome everybody, writers, producers, fans, fanboys, fangirls.
Yes.
And let's just get comfy and cozy. We're hanging out with Live and Rock. We're on the 25th episode, getting ready for our one-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Which will be our next episode.
Yep.
So on today's, we're going to be just talking about what we've been feeling lately. We're going to get you suited up with some tools and tips for your creative journey.
Yep.
And later on, we're going to share some insight to where we are and how things are progressing on our primary goals over the next year.
Yeah. We're going to try and keep it short and sweet too, because like I said, the anniversary episode is the next episode.
Yeah.
So this one's really short. But we're going to go all out next episode. We're going to even have a guest again back in the place.
Yeah.
But you know what? We said too much already. Let's just get into some what you feeling.
Yeah.
On episode 25 of Live and Rock. If we take a quick TV timeout to catch our breath.
Yeah.
And come back with what you feeling on
Let's
Live
do
and
it
Rock.
up.
There we go.
None of us can do it alone. Together, we have a chance. We can avenge the wrongs caused by all these villains.
We can be Avengers.
Our world's about to break. So empty and understand. Lost from when we wake. There's no way to go back. I've been standing on my own, but now I'm not alone. Avengers assemble. Always we will fight as one till the battle's won. With people on the run, we never come undone. Assemble, we are strong. Forever as one.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back.
Back here.
TV timeout.
Yeah, so let's talk about what's going on, what's good. Because life is, full of ups and downs, a roller coaster, loop-the-loops.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a minute and just kind of settle into what has been going well, what's been inspiring us lately.
Yeah, what has given us something to unwind to over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
To be honest, you're right. Life has been hectic. So for me personally, I haven't had a lot of opportunity to unwind and just, do the whole binge watching shows or even taking in art in general. But the one thing I did get to take in, I told you offline, was the Civil War Captain America the other day.
Yes, you did mention that.
Boy, yes.
And
that was
before
nice,
you go too
epic.
deep, definitely it's too early to give any spoilers. So so you're gonna have to contain it a little bit.
Contain my excitement.
Share what you can without spoiling it.
Wow. Well, what I can share is that it was 10 times better than Batman versus Superman. I don't know if you've seen that.
That's not surprising, but it's still at the same time good to hear. Because I haven't seen it yet, and I have it.
You haven't seen which one? Both of them?
I haven't seen either one.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been in the trenches in creative.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the two of them, I mean, I don't know if you're planning to see both of them, but if you do, it would be interesting just from a filmmaker's point of view to get your perspective, because both films, which is not a spoiler, deal with kind of the same theme of pitting what would it be like, what would happen if the heroes of the traditional heroes of the story were fighting each other, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they have the same theme or the same high concept, but then the details are way different. How they execute it and the motivations for why, each one is doing it is different in each, the Marvel film versus the DC film.
Okay, so you're not going to feel like you're watching the same movie with different characters.
Absolutely not. You won't.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you will feel a lot of it feels the same in terms of, like I said, the theme.
Okay.
And someone who's in film or storytelling or writing, to be honest, pretty much every podcast I've listened to and everyone that I've talked to that watched it, they've said the same thing. When you watch it, you can't help but see the parallels and feel the parallels so intensely, like between the two movies.
Okay.
Because they're dealing with such a blatantly similar theme, right? But the execution and the motivations and the fine details are so different.
Okay.
And again, it's night and day to me anyways, from Marvel to DC. But I'm saying it'd be interesting to get your take, even though you're not necessarily hardcore looking at it like watching as a Marvel fan, whatever, but from a filmmaking and storytelling.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying, because it's almost like the difference between a like a demo kind of prototype versus the real thing. So
wow.
So it sounds like you're saying Batman versus Superman was like, this was what we kind of want to do, but with Captain America Civil War, they actually did it.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. That's how I feel. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'd be interested to hear your take. You know, when what you do see him. Yeah.
Hopefully, I should be seeing it soon. So I'll definitely give you my perspective on it. Yeah, so Civil War, anything else outside of that you could share that we don't have to worry about spoilers?
Not really. I'm actually more interested to hear anything you've been taking in the last 2 weeks.
For me, I'm just I'm steady on this vibe right now where I'm checking out new music and movies. Yeah. And especially trying to go for artists that are not obvious. Yeah. So, last episode I talked about Lemonade. But, my wife, Nicole, who was our guest on the last episode, she also brought in another one to me, a movie called Begin Again, which actually stars Mark Ruffalo and features Mos Def.
Really?
And it's a really, really interesting and nice ride for the story.
Okay. It's a newer movie though, right?
I think it's 2014.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not super new.
Yeah.
But it was kind of under the radar because I didn't even know about it.
Okay.
And
what was the basic synopsis?
The basic story is that there's this record executive. They built an empire together. Mark Ruffalo and Mos Def's character built a strong record label.
Okay.
But they want to take it in a more commercial direction.
Okay.
And Mark Ruffalo's character is like, no, we got to get back to quality artistic music.
I think I know the movie now you're talking about. Is this the one with what's her name, Keira Knightley?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah.
I forgot her name.
Yeah. I wanted to see that movie back in the days when it was coming in the theaters. I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's nice, man. It's not an intense movie, so you can kind of just relax and watch it.
Yeah.
But it still has some really cool concepts, and it's told in an interesting way.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend it for any kind of creative person.
Yeah.
You're gonna draw some inspiration from the journeys of these two characters
I'm definitely interested in that. Like I said, from the time when it did originally come out, I wanted to see it. Definitely, as a recording artist, I definitely want to see it from that perspective.
Yeah.
And now that you told me Mos Def is in it, which I had no idea, that makes it even more like, okay, yeah, I want to see it. Yeah.
That was a nice little bonus treat.
Yeah. Is he like in it, like, or is it more like a...
He has a significant role.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's not like the star.
Yeah,
he definitely has a significant role. And the role that he's playing, I remember watching it and thinking to myself, wow, he must love playing this part.
Really?
Yeah, so you got to see the angle that he takes with the character.
He's a good speaking of like musical artists, like and acting, like I think he's one of the best rappers turned actors in the whole industry. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Mos Def on a whole as an artist.
Yes.
He's definitely carved out his own path that is enough to get some mainstream work.
Yeah.
But it's creative and distinctive enough that you can still say it's art. It's not just like bubblegum.
Right. Yeah. He's not just there for his name on the screen. Like he's not cast just because he's a rapper. Right. He's actually, that's what, But I think he's also underrated though. Like I think he's one of the best just on his actual acting skills.
Yeah.
But he's not necessarily, the box office draw, like the major superstar. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the cool thing I like about Mos Def. I think I've become more of a fan of him as an actor than as a rapper.
Okay.
Nothing against his rap, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just the way I've been drawn into him.
Yeah.
And along with that, I've been checking out some new music. I told you earlier, I actually checked out the full album by Lucas Graham.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you've been hearing him playing in malls and in, you know.
It's funny. I haven't heard it anywhere. Well, I mean, I heard the 7 Years song. I've been hearing that.
Yeah,
a lot.
exactly.
But
That
that's only
song
because.
has been-
Go ahead.
That one song has been playing in like so many stores since I first heard it.
Really?
I keep hearing it as, you know, I go into the store, I go into the mall, I go into the grocery store,
Yeah.
and it's part of the playlist. And then I was just like, all right, let me check out the album.
Yeah.
So I checked it out, played it from beginning to end, and I was impressed because he's got a strong personal voice in terms of how he delivers what
Right.
he wants to deliver.
Right.
He's still early in his career, and you
Okay.
can hear that he's.
What is like the sound of his album? Like, what is his overall sound in terms of genre?
That's what's kind of he fits kind of where I like to see myself
Which
in
is?
terms of he's got a sort of down to earth message,
Right.
Of he's just who he is.
Okay.
But who he is so rooted in urban sounds and
Yeah.
yeah,
Continue. I didn't mean to throw you off. I'm playing the song in the background for all those
Yeah.
listeners. in
So,
case you
yeah,
don't know
man.
what it is.
He's rooted in these just down to earth experiences.
Yeah.
He's not all about, you know, the cash and the bling and the
Yeah.
pouring champagne and
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's not trying to say he's something that he's not. He talks a lot about his dad that he lost.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That's what happened?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's interesting. There's a one or two songs that I was like, I could live with or without them.
Yeah.
But overall, his sound is fresh.
Yeah.
And it felt good to be on the journey.
I would definitely check that in as soon as I get a chance, as soon as I get on that Apple Music.
Yeah, man. And he's young, and when you listen to a song, you don't always know where he's going
with it.
Yeah. It's cool. Yeah.
It's funny how you say that you don't know where he's going with it and that he's trying to carve out his own sound, and at the same time, the first time I heard it and heard him, I actually thought it was R. Kelly, like for a minute.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. You can definitely hear those influences all over his project.
Yeah.
But he also goes some places that are a bit unexpected.
Yeah, okay.
So overall, he's got a tone and a vibe that's not too far off from what this 7 Years song is.
Okay.
But I mean, he uses a lot of pianos on the album.
Okay.
So it's very heavy in using pianos. It gives it a really feel good type of a tone.
Okay.
Overall.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's almost like you cross R. Kelly with Billy Joel.
Okay.
And it's like, what is that? I don't know, but it feels
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. It sounds like it's up your alley in terms of innovative and being something innovative. So I'm interested to see if has it inspired you in any way in terms of your
Oh
writing.
yeah, it has actually.
Okay.
And I only listened to the full album this week.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's given me some inspiration that I think will influence my own writing.
Your own writing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I'm looking forward to hearing about your own writing and your
Yeah.
own projects. Speaking of that,
Yeah.
So I can't wait till we get to that in the feature conversation,
Yeah,
which is coming up.
I might even share something I wrote recently.
Word?
Yeah. Not necessarily a song, but conceptual, poetic.
Idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Since that's what it is, I say we get into our next section, which is our suit up section.
All right.
Because until we do our suit up section, we can't get to our feature conversation where I can hear this
True indeed.
masterwork in progress.
Yeah.
So you, go ahead.
Well, we're gonna close off this section, but
Yeah.
my main thing is just being inspired by the spirit of the independent artist.
Yeah.
You know, movies like Begin Again, albums like Lucas Graham.
Yeah.
And one more I'm gonna throw in there.
Oh yeah. Oh, I thought okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, Louis C.K. I haven't seen this project.
Okay.
But I just heard hour-and-a-half podcast conversation with Mark Maron and talking to Louis C.K. about this project that he self-funded and is so off the beaten path in terms of structure and genre.
Okay.
And just hearing about the whole journey of how he did that and, not relying on any of the studios which would have backed him.
Right.
But would have gave him so much more,
grief.
Yeah. It would have just tightened up his creative muscle so he wouldn't be able to really be free. Yeah. So cheers to the independent creative spirit. Mm-hmm. And with that, let's find out what Suit Up tools we can use to help us on that journey.
All right, so let's get into our Suit Up section for all the other creative independents out there. Brought to you by
ShifterMagazine.com, your online destination for articles, interviews, how-tos, and everything you need on your creative journey. ShifterMagazine.com.
And without further ado, it's time to Suit Up. Okay, hold on. We gotta do this right. We gotta do this right.
Okay.
So, this is called our Suit Up section. And without further ado, that's what we're about to do. Like this.
Suit up! Suit up! Suit up! You suited up! Snow suit up! Light suit up! Penguin suited up! Suit up! You suited up! Birthday suiting up! Slut up! Suit up! Suit up! Suited up! Suit up! Suit up! Space suit up! Light suit up! Suit up!
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the Suit Up section. And I was going to ask my brother here, Mr. CH Live, what is the Suit Up section again? Just break it down before we actually give you the tip for today.
Welcome to the Suit Up section. This is where we provide you with tips and tools to help you on your creative journey. Whatever your goal is creatively, these tips and tools will certainly help you to achieve them.
Right. And sometimes our tips and tools also come in the form of motivational words of encouragement and motivational resources. That's right. So today on the Suit Up section is one of those days where our tip and tool, our Suit Up section is going to be kind of a little bit more on the motivational side.
Yes.
And in fact, it's what I'm recommending is that you guys think about a little thing that we call teamwork.
Yes.
So I mentioned earlier that I have a blog, and my blog is called spacelovesuperheroes.wordpress.com. You can go check it out. And I do a thing called Motivational Monday. Every Monday or every other Monday, I post a motivational, inspirational poster.
Right.
And this particular week, I posted one called Teamwork, and it features comic book superheroes, specifically Spider-Man and many of the other Avengers, alongside the DC characters. And you have to go to spacelovesuperheroes.com/WordPress to check it out. But the main point is, this one is called Teamwork, and the caption underneath it goes, sometimes it takes the most unlikely group of people to achieve the most powerful results.
Yeah.
And, the image itself is telling a story that applies to us as creatives. I think is very poignant to us as creatives. That's why I posted it.
Right.
Because you have the Marvel characters, the Avengers themselves,
right,
alongside the DC characters who we know in the comic book world do not reside in the same universe.
Right.
They're unlikely to be in the same screen, the same, film, whatever, together. But yet here they are in this poster called Teamwork.
Yeah.
And because it's such a striking image, it accomplishes a powerful result.
Okay.
Because it causes you to stop and think, what the WTF, right?
Right.
So, anyways, the idea of teamwork is also resonating with me as a creative, because I'm a writer, and a lot of what I do is solo work.
Right.
Sitting down and writing the actual stories or the actual article is just me and the pen and page or the computer. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times we need help to get our creative stuff done. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about the fact that sometimes you have to lean into your team of people around you that helped you get things done. And sometimes that team is not very obvious. Sometimes it's an unlikely team. Sometimes the team has to consist of thinking outside the box and having more of a virtual team than a literal team.
Right.
And, you know, on Motivational Monday, I posted a whole article to support this idea of an unlikely group of people.
Right.
And for an example, you know, I talked about how, for myself, my virtual team that helps me to get from day to day and week to week in my creative journey consists of a guy named Rob Clark, who is a extraordinary, gifted visual artist who we've had on Live and Rock many times.
Top notch.
Right. And we're separate individuals doing separate things, but he is part of my virtual team in the sense that, you know, just for me to go out to Comic-Cons and promote my work, my books and stuff, it costs money. And in order to save a dime and make it very useful, very affordable and practical for me, I team up with Rob on a regular basis. Every time a con is going on, we team up with each other. We call each other, like, hey, we want to get a booth together, and we're like, yeah, let's do it. And we don't talk to each other a lot in between. We may talk to each other like maybe once or twice in between Comic-Cons that go months apart, you know. But every time the show is in town, we link up. We're like, okay, you ready to do the next one? We put our money together, pool our resources, and we're there. So for me, you know, he's an invaluable member of my team. I don't look at him just a guy that, you know, I hang out with at Comic-Con every now and then. He's become a very integral part of my overall operation of HS Lee pursuing the creative dream, you know, in a very practical way, you know. Similarly, I also mentioned in an article on Thinking Outside the Box, it's like podcasts, you know, here on Live and Rock, we advocate and we lean into the idea of listening to podcasts to get help and tools and resources. And, you know, I mentioned I started listening to a podcast called I Teach Blogging. And again, it's become an invaluable part of my team. I think of those podcasters who I'm leaning into and listening to the shows regularly that give me real practical help as part of my team. Because they keep me motivated, both, you know, as a creative, but they also give me practical tools that I need in executing my day-to-day, you know, keeping on top of it.
I like that perspective, to be honest, because sometimes I don't always think of people as part of my team. And sometimes I'm thinking, man, if I only had a team. But when you think about it that way, it actually, it energizes you a bit, knowing that you do have these actual people that are available to you in whatever context it may be. Right? So you might not be sitting across the table from them all the time, but for example, with a podcast, they're there. They're being consistently delivering on their end. You can go back to the episode you need when you need it. And when the Comic-Con comes in town, you know you can call Rob and you guys are going to be able to do it. And it doesn't tax as much of your personal resources because you have that team. Right?
Exactly.
When you need that motivation, you don't always have to find it in yourself. You can reach out to the members of your team and find that motivation through the podcast or through whatever it is. And so I feel like, Live and Rock is going to be a part of a lot of people's teams.
You read my mind. That's what I was thinking about as I prepared to do this Suit Up or this episode. It just hit me like, you know, that's what I want to encourage our listeners to do. This Suit Up is really to encourage you guys to reach out, look in your circle of influence, your friends, your co-workers, your family, and say, well, you know, who is really a part of my team, or who can I make a part of my virtual team? And to that, and take it further, look at Live and Rock as part of your team. Be willing to even think of us as part of your team. If you're a regular listener, if you're a brand new listener, that's why we're here. We want to encourage you to reach out and, you know, hit us up on Twitter at Live and Rock on Twitter. Send us a DM, direct message, send us an email, go to our website and just think of how, we can help you. That's what we're here to do. If you want us to cover a particular topic in the Suit Up section, you have a question, regardless of the medium or of that you're in, whether you're a filmmaker, graphic designer, musician, recorder artist, Live and Rock, we have resources.
We do.
If we don't have the answer, we may be able to find an answer for you or point you in the right direction, whether it be a real person or a specific episode of a specific podcast that we listen to within various industries. Yeah.
And it's what we love to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
We absolutely love doing it. And we are most energized by seeing the results of sharing these resources.
Yes.
So when we're able to share these resources with you and you get results from them, that is what keeps us motivated and keeps us going.
Yes, that's right. And in the meantime, while you're waiting for it, you can go check out spacelovesuperheroes.com/WordPress. No, I messed that up.
One more time. Rewind and come again.
spacelovesuperheroes.wordpress.com.
Straight.
And it's called Teamwork. There's I have many other Motivational Monday posters up there and articles up there. Teamwork is the one that we featured most recently. But yeah, that's what it is.
Absolutely, 100%. So we are here. We are now officially part of your team, just so that you know. So we'll be looking forward to see what you have us assigned to in order to help you out on your journey.
Yeah. Nice. Perfect. I like that. So, speaking of journey,
yes,
we want to continue on with the personal journey of CDH Live and Shell Rock and get this week's update on what's up with Live and Rock as we get into our feature conversation.
Rolling. This episode is going so smooth. Let's keep it rolling.
All right. So, without further ado, let's get into our feature conversation on episode 25 of Live and Rock.
Rockin' Live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, episode 25 of Live and Rock feature conversation. We are digging in to that insight part where we share the journey. And this week we're focusing on strategic steps. So yours truly, CDH Live, is on the journey towards a marketable show within the next 6 months. Shell Rock, my brother here, is on a journey towards
establishing myself as a professional writer in the nerd culture. Pretty much it.
Perfect.
In a nutshell.
So we've set out these goals to achieve within the next 6 months, and today we're going to be focusing on the strategic steps that will get us there.
Yeah.
But before we dive into that, are there any challenges or celebrations that you want to share over just the past since the last episode?
Forgot about that still. Maybe you can go first, 'cause I forgot about that. What about you? You have any celebrations while I check my brain,
I guess the biggest celebration, and somewhat of a continuation from the last episode, is that that music and ideas and concepts are flowing.
Okay.
Right, so it seems like they're getting better and better, and I'm getting into a flow.
Yeah.
The big challenge is.
But okay,
go ahead.
Is there any specific, you're saying music is starting to flow and everything? So is there any specific ones, like a song that got recorded or written that you can tell me about or tell us about?
Yeah, there's. I started out wanting to work on really 2 songs.
Okay.
And the idea has been flowing so much. I have at least 5 songs that I believe will end up being part of the CDH Live show.
Okay.
And I have...
Any working titles? Any working...
there are some working titles. Let me pull this out for you real quick.
All right.
just for example, one of the working titles is Tomorrow's Not Promised.
Okay.
Another working title is Lift the World Up.
All right.
One more working title is Confident.
Okay. And just for the benefit of those who are not familiar with CDH Live, do they have any specific genre or feel that we're working in?
Well, here's where the celebration becomes that much more poignant.
Yes.
Is that I started out really focusing on, the rap rock sound that I've been developing over the years.
Yes.
But, really digging into these indie artists, both, movies and music.
Right.
And just being a little bit more outside of the box.
Yeah.
I've been actually recording or, jotting down notes and ideas that are outside of that.
Yeah, okay.
So you're going to see how it develops together.
Yeah.
And that's got me excited.
Okay.
There's the potential with, the way things are going that these 5 songs I'm working on now might end up being cut completely because something better replaces them.
Right.
But as they're in the works right now, they're coming together really well.
Okay.
And that's encouraging to me. It's keeping me, energized day by day.
Yeah. Looking forward to go to work, to go back and work. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so that's a huge celebration because, like I've said a few times,
yo, you got to bring some music to the show, man. Seriously, one of these days. Seriously,
yeah.
Like, it's one thing we keep talking about CH Live, the artist, but it'd be nice to just hear some of your tunes, even just a taste, even the old stuff, just in the background.
We should have a conversation about why I haven't been sharing much lately.
Okay,
and then in that conversation, I could share something and share why I haven't been sharing much lately.
I feel that.
So you can kind of compare the old and the new, so to speak.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I've been in a huge transition.
Okay.
You see artists reinvent themselves.
Yep.
And you see an artist and then they disappear for a few years.
Yeah.
And they come out with a whole different look, a different sound.
Yeah.
And
like Everlast, aka House of Pain.
Right. So that's essentially what I've been going through over the last couple of years. And I'm just starting to realize it's not the first time I've done this because I started out as a reggae artist.
That's right. Yeah.
And I went away and I came back as a poet.
Yeah.
And then I came back as a rap artist.
Yeah.
And I've been a producer.
Yeah.
So it's like reinvention is actually not new to me.
Right.
But it's just part of being who I am as a creator.
Okay.
So yeah. But yeah, those are the celebrations. There is a challenge, but let me hear about some of yours.
Well, I'll just stick to the challenge side since you're a celebration, and I really didn't have anything really to celebrate. Over the last week, actually, like I said, it's been more of a challenge.
Okay.
Real life hit me in a super hard way, and I mentioned it on the last episode, I think too.
Okay.
And it's just continued to be like that for the last couple weeks. So again, I haven't been able to post anything really new. I burned the midnight oil the night before Free Comic Book Day.
Okay.
And I managed to post something literally that night.
Wow.
Something I think it was like a Comic-Con post. But the Free Comic Book Day event that I did with Rob turned out to be a little bit of a disappointment. The turnout at the particular shop that we were at was like ridiculously low, ridiculously way beyond what you would expect on Free Comic Book Day, and way lower than what the owner had had and expected and had experienced in the past, and why he was so excited to have us there, because really he was like hyping it up, hyping it up before when he booked us. He was like, yeah, people are going to be lining up before first thing in the morning, you guys, but make sure you get there, blah blah blah.
Okay.
And it was night and day. It was nothing like it was the exact opposite.
So just curious, did that cause any like negative feelings towards the guy putting it on?
No, it didn't. I mean, I'm taking these things in stride, and to be honest, I went into it with no expectations.
Okay.
Like I tried after not just being you know, in the journey of now being a writer and whatnot, trying to be a writer, but just in general as a creative artist, I've been doing music so many years before that and decades. And I've kind of, at this age and stage in the game, I've learned to not get excited. You know what I mean? Like, you see the proof in the pudding. Like, I've been there, done that. I've heard so many promises in so many different ways, shapes, and form. You know, from the littlest thing, like, you know, having a table at Free Comic Con Day, or Free Comic Book Day, to, you know, trying to get signed to a record label, and some you know, snake oil manager comes out with promising you the world. You know what I mean? So I've been there, done that. So yeah, I went in with low expectations. Yeah, it was disappointing for sure. But I wasn't like crushed or heartbroken or vexed at anybody. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Yeah.
You manage your own expectations,
exactly.
And you ride the waves as they come.
That's right. Yeah, and we should actually do a episode about that, managing expectations.
I mean, that's one thing our experience has taught us. Is to manage our own expectations. Doesn't mean not to celebrate or rejoice in an opportunity. But just manage the expectations. And know how to walk away with your mind and your spirit still intact.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I can feel that. I can feel that. I do want to get into some of our strategic steps, because I know we tend to go on long.
I'm with you right there.
So the goal is for you to establish yourself as. Say it again.
Establish myself as a professional writer of fiction and nonfiction in nerd culture.
Okay. What's kind of cool is that you did it again just now, and I still kind of do it, is change it a little bit every time you say it.
Yeah.
So hopefully my goal is to create a marketable show. But I want to get to the point where every time the question is asked, it's just comes off your tongue in the same way. You know exactly what it is, and boom, you're on it. So we'll get to that very, very soon. And we'll be rolling with that. But let's talk a bit about the strategies of how we're going to get there, and more specifically, what is the next step, and what the impact of the next step might be. So
what is your next step? What is your strategy?
So for me, the main strategy is everything. I heard a great producer say that everything starts with great songs. So as a producer and a performing artist and someone who deals with branding, I have come to acknowledge that it all starts with great songs. So that's where the focus is right now, in terms of the next step, is to finish some great songs.
Now, do you have, a couple things jump out at me as you say that immediately. So, one, you already have a set goal in terms of timeline when you want to have this show kind of done, right? And you said that's what, like September? It's like how long? September? Okay. So that in mind, you also, you've expressed to me, which I would love to, if you get you to share on air now, is the idea of what the show is going to be like. So it's not I already know it. It's not a show that's going to be just a concert.
No, it's going to not. In fact, part of the marketing is this is not a concert.
Okay, so there you go. So that in mind, that it's not a concert, I'm curious as to, do you have a set amount of songs that you're looking to have? Like, do you have a number in your head, or an ideal range of number of tracks? Even though you know it's not a concert, does that play into the idea of, well, do you need more songs or less songs? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. So it's good to be able to start sharing a little bit of what this show is going to be. So the CDH Live show is a true experience. It's a dynamic live performance show. So you're going to come, you're going to have a good time. and you're going to meet the inspiring alter ego of a regular guy. Mm-hmm. This is not a concert, but it is filled with live music.
Yeah.
Okay? So your question of how many songs is enough to fill a night.
Yes.
I mentioned that originally I wanted to start with 2 songs.
Yes.
But the show itself is probably, I'm kind of guessing at this stage, but I'm going to say probably at least 8 songs, maybe up to as much as 12.
Okay.
But some of those songs will dig into my 20-year repertoire.
Right. Not necessarily all brand new songs.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the thing I wanted to kind of deviate, although we're talking about your strategy right now, what's your game plan? I kind of want to just dig a little deeper into the sharing the vision for the show, because I'm excited by the show,
right?
Of what you said, and I know you just said it again. It's not a concert,
right?
But to kind of make it a little bit more, give a more visual picture to our listeners.
Sure.
Can I say, like, I would describe it, it's safe to say, describe it, it's going to be more of like a, sort of like a one-man stand-up show, or a one-man on-stage Broadway show. Not Broadway, but like a live, kind of like what can I say? Almost like how a stand-up comedian does a show. Or even someone who's just like doing a monologue, one-man monologue show. And it's more like you're telling a story, or you're going to be like on stage, but you're going to have music in it, almost like a music. I don't know how to say. I'm not.
Yeah, it's difficult to describe because it is different.
Okay.
The description I have right now, and this is again insight. When I start doing the actual marketing, I won't be saying, "Well, this." Right. But anyway,
yeah.
It's a live, interactive performance experience that will challenge your emotions and perhaps get you started on the best of your life. It's a true live expression rooted in rap, rock, and poetry with sounds and songs that inspire. Be the one to cry, feel confident, and stay true to you. This is not a concert. It's a true experience. So you're going to feel deeply challenged, delighted, inspired. You'll feel energized in the face of your fears and your tears, and you could finally find faith to be real. The experience will live with you throughout the year and continue to motivate and inspire you to stay true to yourself.
Yes.
It's going to have full songs performed with a full band.
Yeah.
It will have spoken word, a cappella.
Yeah.
And most important, it will have a lot of interaction and engagement with the audience, because the audience is actually a part of the experience. So when you come to this show and this experience, you're coming to participate in the experience, and therefore it will never be the same twice.
And another aspect, if I remember correctly, is it also that you're going to be telling a story?
Yes.
Kind of like with a beginning, middle, and end?
Yes. It has a beginning, middle, and end, so it has a full story arc that you can follow, that the songs and the material will be part of telling.
So that's what I was trying to kind of get at, but wasn't able to articulate it. But essentially what I'm trying to say is that it's going to be more of something like a stage play, or a stage. If people, in the way you're marketing it, and the way when people coming to it, they should be coming to it with the mindset of kind of more like they're going to see a show as opposed to a musical concert. Like if they're going to see, what was it, Hamilton, or if they're going to see the gig that your wife was in, like that. That's more the perspective you should.
It's almost like coming to a musical if a musical was actually a concert.
All right. We'll leave it at that for now. We're still a work in progress anyway.
Still a work in progress. So again, the main focus right now is finalizing the songs, the foundational songs that help to push the story forward.
So getting full circle, we're back onto your strategy, and you're saying the first step of your strategy is getting the songs done. That's the focus right now.
Right. And with
Do you have a timeline that you want to try and get them done by? Because that's only one aspect of the show. So you can't spend the next 6 months.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
And that's really, being the foundation, it's all the real heavy lifting.
True.
The promotional part, I think, is going to go much easier. But the timeline right now is to get at least 2 of the new songs finalized by our anniversary episode, which is our next episode.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you also have the monologues and or poetry pieces, like and the interactive pieces that you got to plan out and write and all that stuff.
Correct.
Okay.
But once the foundation is laid, the rest goes up very quick.
Okay. And I know there's other aspects of it that are a surprise that I won't mention because I know you want to save some of it for,
Yes.
All right, cool. So,
but we'll leave that for now.
All right. So that's pretty much your main strategy.
That's my main strategy
to accomplishing the goal
is lay a solid foundation of great songs.
Okay.
That support a great story.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So and to get the first 2 done by, I'll say, June 1st.
Okay. I'm gonna check in with you on that.
Oh yeah.
By June 1st.
And I will be able to deliver at least 1 verse.
Okay.
As evidence that it's been
done.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
All right.
So on to you, Mr. Shellrock.
We might not be able to check in by June 1st though, because our anniversary episode is like
it's the 29th.
Yeah. So then the next episode will be 2 weeks. So you might get 2 weeks grace.
We'll see.
As terms of
my personal goal is to have something to share on the anniversary episode.
Okay.
But we might not even have time for it on the anniversary.
Yeah, because we're going anniversary episode. We're throwing all the rules out, all the format, all the rules out the window.
Right.
We're just gonna have a fun time celebrating and hanging out with our mystery guest.
Yeah.
Our surprise guest.
And one other thing, just to say before you jump into your side, is that the idea with this particular show is that, as I said at the top of the episode, I'm pursuing a, for all intents and purposes, impossible goal of becoming a full-time creator at this stage in my life.
Right.
So if I can pull off a marketable show that can generate revenue and can get me on the path of being a full-time creator, then I think that is going to be pretty inspiring, and hopefully I will learn enough to be able to help others do something similar with their goals.
Yeah. Wicked.
So on to H.S. Lee.
Wow. So strategies of how to get to my goal. It's funny because the strategies that I have in place, the primary strategy I had in place was all centered around, promoting current and existing work. So my primary strategy was to engage audiences in person via specifically Comic-Cons, and kind of doing a 6-month Comic-Con tour, to various Comic-Cons. From now till October. That's one of my primary, tent poles in my strategy. The secondary strategy is to, engage social media wise.
Okay.
More actively and more specific and broader in the sense of creating a video blog, a video web presence, and or audio web presence that specifically exists specifically to promote what I'm doing on Live and Rock and on my blog, and to a certain degree even my actual fiction.
Right.
Those are the 2 primary, strategies that I was going to focus on.
So the video show and live in-person Comic-Con type events where you can have conversations with people.
Exactly, yeah. But it occurred to me, over the last few weeks, slowly, that the part that's missing is that I'm focused on too many too many things on the peripheral of what I really want to do, which is create content. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to focus on writing more. I want more stories. I want to do the actual story writing and sharing that. And I do it on the blog. And my goal has been to share, some of my fictional work on the blog at least once every 2 weeks. For every, 3 or 4 articles I'm writing and posting, I would post one of my fictional stories, and I started doing it. But the more time was going by over the last few weeks, the more I've been getting frustrated and realizing, like, I'm doing so many things, but writing fiction and sharing it, you know? And it's gotten me to the point where I'm like, I'm kind of social media fatigued right now, and I'm second guessing and really feeling like I want to spend more time writing and less time doing all those other things, and this is where I've had a conversation with you offline about, even with Live and Rock, the show, I'm conflicted now of how I'm spending my time, and how I want to figure out a good way to find balance of just spending more time writing, because without the content, as you just said, for you, it's without the good, everything starts with the good music or good songs. For me, it's like, well, I don't want to build this empire or network of people who are become fans of just my blog for all the commentaries that I make on other people's stuff. You know what I mean? I want to generate actual content. I have so much, fiction that I have backlogged in my mind and in my drawers and in my computer, that I want to get out there. Yeah.
So it's shifting the focus to the actual content, or what I like to call the product.
Yes.
And when the product is prioritized, then people are there for the right reasons.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
So because of that, I mean, the Comic-Cons, that's not going to stop. That's a for sure. That's going to continue. But the video blog and the idea of doing social media, I feel like I'm going to have to, I'm doing some soul searching right now and going to get back to you on the next episode in terms of, I have shared with you before that my expectation or my desire was to have 3 posts every week consistently and all that. But with the way I've been struggling to just keep up with that for the last few weeks, especially with the real life hard issues that have been popping up and been keeping me down over the last couple of weeks, it's like, maybe I need to manage my expectations and make a choice and just like realize that, okay, the reality is right now with where life is, maybe I can only really commit to 1 post a week. I started out really good. I was doing like on fire the first 2 months, like 2-3 posts every week. But again, they're not establishing my story side, So maybe I need to go back to the drawing board and just reassess and realign my expectations to say that, okay, maybe I can only do 1 or 2 a week. And even if I'm only doing 1 or 2, what do I really want to focus on? Do I want to make those 1 or 2, commentaries on the latest movie or whatever? Or do I want to promote my work? And one of the strategies I've come up with to kind of as a compromise to bridge that gap is to start sharing in a serialized way my content that's already done. So i.e. my 2 books that I've already published, I've started just taking them, 1 chapter at a time and post those chapters as posts. Because those I don't have to rewrite. I don't have to spend any time writing. It's just a matter of taking out the 1 chapter at a time and putting it as a PDF and posting it as a post on the blog. So that way I'm fulfilling the desire to have people see my fiction work. But it's also managed. It's done in in a way that it doesn't take up time that I don't have to write something new.
Yeah. So just curious then, officially has the major goal been redefined?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Go ahead. No, what?
Well, I've already, so what I've been saying is being, the goal that I've mentioned now, the way I've said it, is the redefined goal.
All right.
Because before my goal was to have 10 active subscribers by 6 months from now.
Right. And now the goal is?
And now the goal is to establish myself as a professional writer.
Okay.
Right.
So with a redefined goal, we also have to reassess how smart
it is. Okay, yeah.
So we're going to have to figure out how to measure that.
Right. Well, that's of course. So that's what I'm saying. So the old goal of having, trying to get 10 users or whatever, active users, I've shifted those to be the measurements.
Okay.
So it's a matter of shifting my focus.
Okay.
So the goal has changed.
Okay.
And now the old goal has just become the measurement by which I start to see that I've accomplished the goal of establishing myself.
Okay. So does that mean then that 10 active subscribers means that you've established yourself as a...
No, but it's one of the measurements along the way.
So we need to find a definitive measurement of how do you know whether or not you've achieved this.
Right.
And is the timeline...
Yes, I'm glad you said that. Yeah. And actually, to be honest, the timeline for that is 12 months that I have. That's it's my 12-month goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if it's a 12-month goal, then what's the major goal for
6 months?
Yeah, I guess you if you want to make it 12 for your major goal, that's fine.
Yeah.
But then we just have
need
to
a benchmark, like a 6 month kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'll think about that for the next episode. Mm-hmm. What's my 6 month goal gonna be?
Right.
Yeah.
Because the thing I'm thinking about is, if you can't measure the goal, then it makes it hard for you to decide where to spend your time and energy.
Yeah.
So while you're thinking about should I do fiction or should I do commentary?
Yeah.
Should I spend time on this Comic-Con and I'm not sure whether or not it's going to give me I'm not sure what results I'm going to get from it.
Yeah.
Then you measure that against your goal.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you from right now, like we only have like 5 minutes left, so we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
But, without going in depth, which we will do on the next episode or a couple episodes from now, I know that for sure the measurements are going to be more content based now. Okay. So the active, like I said, the active subscribers for 6 months from now, that will still be in there as part of the measurements.
Yeah.
But also I'm looking at, I want to have an X amount of number of fiction pieces that are published by 6 months from now as another measurement.
Right.
Because that's going to be how I I can't establish myself as a fiction writer if I'm not putting fiction out there. So
I love that.
So my measurement is going to be, just like I need 10 subscribers 6 months from now, I might, just for an example, I'll say I want to have 25 fiction pieces posted by 6 months from now.
Okay,
as part of my measurement.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Because the whole time I've been thinking about this saying, I can't remember where it came from, but there's a saying, it goes something like, someone who calls themselves a writer.
Yes.
They're not a writer because they call themselves a writer or because they've written one book.
Right.
They're a writer because that's what they do. They write.
Yes.
So if your goal is to be a writer, then you should be writing.
Yes. Yeah.
Not spending 80% of your time promoting. Spend the time writing because you're a writer.
Yeah.
And the difference between a writer and a professional writer is that the professional gets paid for it. So I'm not saying that's 100% accurate definition in this case.
Yeah.
But just as a simple picture of how you could look at it. So I like the way you're saying about, tying the measurement to, having finished a certain amount of work. Right. And working a certain amount or releasing a certain amount on these regular, timelines, whether it be once a month or whatever cumulatively. I definitely love that. I like that product or activity connected to what your goal is.
Yeah. Cool. Good. I like that. I feel better now that I have the CDH Live stamp of approval.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, being a writer is not about how good it is.
Yeah.
It's about the fact that you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where it came back to me. Last September, I set out to my 1,000 hours goal.
Right. Yes.
And which so far it's pretty much, fizzled out.
Dead in the water, yeah.
But what I realized, just like you are realizing now, is that focusing on the 1,000 hours was not producing fruit.
Right.
Because I was just like, I got to put these hours in.
Yes.
So now that I'm focusing on the content, I'm not spending as much time recording how much time I'm spending.
Yes.
But I'm spending more time.
Okay, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know necessarily if I'm going to reach the 1,000 hours because I'm not taking my mind and my energy away from the creation in order to record that I'm doing
it. Yeah.
But I know in my heart, I spent probably 3 hours that day. I spent 6 hours this day. I spent an hour while I was, going from the grocery store to wherever. You know what I mean? I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's just that there isn't that strict, accountability of what time I did it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, the result is more important than an arbitrary 1,000 hours.
Yeah. Speaking of time, hours. Sorry.
Yeah.
Our hour is more than up.
All right.
So we do have to go.
Oh, I thought you would be checking on that for today.
I know I was checking on it, and we were doing really good, but we kind of let it slip away. So we have literally 2 minutes.
All right. Well, I think it went well. I think we're getting on track. We're refining those goals, and we're seeing what actually is strategic or not because we have a specific goal in mind.
Right.
And it's helping us make better artistic, creative decisions, time management decisions.
Yes.
So I think we're on a good path, and I think as you, our friends and team members, stay tuned.
Our virtual team.
It'll be really rewarding to see how these conversations impact our end goal.
Yes.
And hopefully you'll be able to share how they've impacted your goals as well.
Please, yes. Lean into us as your virtual team. Let us know how this conversation, these shows are impacting you. And know that when you're doing that, you're actually becoming part of our virtual team because you're impacting us and letting us know that our labors are not in vain. Our conversations are not in vain. That encourages us to keep going.
Yes, indeed.
So tune into the next episode. Next episode is our anniversary episode.
Next episode is our anniversary. We're gonna have our good friend Milo Flex.
Just let the cat out the bag.
We don't worry. We'll have other surprises too.
All right, yeah. But we have to go. I really have to go. We have to call this one a wrap. So we're gonna end it like that. Yeah. And but of course, as we always say in every episode, if you are gonna live, you might as well rock.
Most artists cannot be comfortable and stuck in one box.
That's right.
And that's what this podcast is about. It's not just filmmaking, but creative pursuits in general, the creative life.